Hi everybody, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, the YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a little bit of a walk down a very famous street in Moscow called Arbat Street. This is actually old Arbat Street. There is a new one as well, but this is considered the most famous street. Now, part of the reason we're going to do a walk on this street is it's considered to be the oldest known or surviving street in Moscow, dating back to about 1450, which is kind of crazy old, 1450. So yeah, we're going to take a walk down, we're going to just have a look at what's going on. It's a very famous street known for a lot of artists, musicians, poets, singers. Yeah, it's kind of a neat street. It's about 1 kilometer long, it's not very long. Hopefully the video won't be too long. Let's take a walk along Arbat Street, shall we, and see what there is to offer. Okay, so let's go and have a walk along Arbat Street, shall we? Now, as I'm walking down here, there's actually a band set up right here. So the music can be a little bit loud, but that's the whole point. It's kind of like a, I guess, a modern rock band. Yeah, we'll just sort of check it out, take a little bit of the atmosphere in. Now it's kind of not a beautiful day today. It's kind of overcast. It hasn't rained all day, but it's still nice to walk. It's probably around about 10 or 11 degrees in Celsius. So you'll see everybody sort of fairly rugged up, jackets, hats. Some people carrying umbrellas, but I don't think it's not rained at all today, and it isn't going to rain. And guess what? It'll probably rain in a few minutes from now. So yeah, it's a very old street. I mean, more than 500 years old. There's even a lot of unknown history of the street about how it was named or where did the name come from. Arbat, in one kind of explanation, is in reference to it being a trade route. So before all of the main roads were built around Moscow, a lot of trade would come and go through Arbat Street. And basically back in the very beginning, there was a huge fire that kind of went through a lot of Moscow, and this street was very famously burnt down, and all the original buildings were didn't fare too well. It's a bit of a bookseller here. If only I knew the language. Some very old books. Some of them a lot of ode to Lenin there. See some statues. Yeah, it is known as a little bit of a tourist kind of a street as well. Very similar to Nikolskaya Street. Kids are on a bit of an excursion here. I think the teacher's giving them a little bit of history at the same time. Oh, then they're going to a cafe. They're going to Mumu Cafe, which is a very well-known Russian cafe. Yeah, a few people taking photos. You know, it's a nice sort of walking street in general. I kind of like the area here. I'd imagine the cost of the apartments here and the renting of them would be huge. It would be very high priced. It's one of the few streets as well that's got kind of souvenir shops as well. You don't see too many Russian souvenir shops around in Moscow. I think Russians don't really take it to heart too much. This one's got a ton of stuff. It's very well lit as well. There's hats, magnets, a lot of Matryoshka dolls. Alright, let's keep walking down. Yeah, still, even though winter's sort of coming on, there's still outdoor cafes right here. And yeah, it's just a nice walking street. It's good to see everyone out and about as well. I mean, this is a fairly normal day here, so it always looks busy. It's really not because of the population. Look at these old buildings. How neat are those? Yeah, so a lot of aspiring artists and poets and students want to come and live in this area because of the history and the heritage of where some of the original, famous Russians lived. They lived on Arbat Street here. It was kind of a thing to do, to live on this street and be known. It's I don't think it's a nice street. It's closed off to traffic, which is the main thing. I'll just avoid the lady giving away vouchers there. Yeah, these outdoor cafes, it's a little bit cool today, but just a nice spot to sit out when it was a kind of these sunny days that we had last month. I hope you like these kind of walk-arounds. I think they're a good way to sort of take in Moscow, see a bit of the day-to-day life. I have seen quite a few other channels that do this kind of thing, and they just literally just put their camera on and walk. There's no narration or talking, I guess. I guess this is kind of, in my own words, what I'm explaining here. Check this building out, by the way. Kind of like mixed into the architecture, and there's an old Soviet style building behind it with all the air conditioning units. It's an office building right there. Let's cross now, shall we, while we can. There's a few cars. Yeah, it's Arbat Street's also known for its artists and painters. I mean, I don't believe these guys are the people who painted them when you see them here on the right hand side now. I think they're just sort of dealers over the art. There's a guy here doing caricatures. It's kind of got all of the famous pictures that we all know so well. He's starting to do a drawing there. It's just what was the Aeroflot office. Want to book a ticket. It's interesting, there's kind of a mix of the old and new on the same street when you walk down here. These old buildings that have been all sort of remodeled and put back to their original kind of look. And then there's a kind of a mix of the kind of new brands and that have kind of come into Moscow in the kind of let's say last 20 or 30 years or so. A few more kind of homeware stores. Actually over here, I've walked down this street quite a lot of times myself. There's a Nike store right here. And it's kind of weird, like it's actually an underground one, kind of a basement style store. And then you've got Starbucks right there. This guy's got the deliveries. There's Green Delivery Club. It's kind of like Uber Eats, the Russian version. Uber's kind of been almost gobbled up over here by Yandex. Yandex kind of just dominates. Yandex taxis, Yandex supermarket, Yandex shopping. And they sort of took over. Uber came over here, and then Yandex basically just bought them out to close them down. And that was it. Yeah, there's kind of like a mixture of tourists walking here, and then I'd imagine kind of just people who are just coming for a walk out in Moscow. These are the very strange outdoor toilets in Moscow. Look like a shipping container, and you pay to use them. They're always look just very strange to me, like they've brought them from the war and repainted them. Yeah, there's people hanging around, taking photos. I mean, these are old buildings. There's some offices, apartments kind of mixed in together. You like this kind of walk around? I guess if you're kind of following the Traveling with Russell channel, you kind of want to see a little bit of the Russian day-to-day life that I'm sort of showing here in the videos. Just a little bit of stuff about the Russian ballet here. Because they're always obviously in Russian, all the signage, so you can't really read them or understand what they're talking about. But it's actually, is that the Bolshoi Theatre there, I think? Which is actually over by Red Square. And check out these apartments right here on this corner. I mean, I'd be scared to know how much that is per month to rent these apartments right here. I mean, I guess it's sort of like central London, or living in Manhattan in New York, or in the middle of maybe Sydney or Melbourne. We don't really have the older style buildings in Perth where I'm from, so. Alright, let's cross over again. Yeah, it's Arbat Street. Well, this is old Arbat Street. The new Arbat Street basically is like a main road that runs parallel to this, just on this side, or behind this row of buildings, I guess. Not as exciting, I think, as walking on old Arbat Street. Yeah, these coffee shops seem to have kind of spring up everywhere. This one's called One Price Coffee. There's also one called Coffix, or fixed price coffee. So 60 rubles for a coffee takeaway, which is about $1.20 Australian, maybe less than $1 US. It's really not expensive. 60 pence in English money, if you like all the conversions. And lots of these guys giving out flyers and cards. I guess they're kind of advertising to go into shops and different places. So, thank you. This old building here with the cafe, kebab house. It's not really the kebab like you're thinking of. It's kind of very similar in Russia, but it's more like skewered meat that they barbecue, I guess you'd call it. Guy advertising haircuts there. 600 rubles, $12 at 10 US dollars for a haircut. It's not too bad. It's kind of a little bit more than normal if you went to a local hairdresser where you live. You see here these guys doing the repointing of all the old building here. The thing is, it's just these guys up on this wooden scaffolding. It's really, I don't know if you can see there's the gaps in the scaffolding. Now, if that was any other place in the world, that would be not legal by government standards, the gaps in the scaffolding. But in Russia, no worries. It's just interesting when I always see scaffolding around, how strange it looks to me, but the guys up there are okay with it. Nice photo exhibit here of different parts of Russia. And I really don't know what this statue is. I did look it up ahead of time, but I couldn't really get the information on it. But it's a nice spot for a photo. This young lady getting a picture here. Maybe she knows what it is. Look at this building right here on the corner. Wow. I don't even see that high up. And this is actually a ballet or a theatre here on the right hand side. So there's a few theatre shows advertised. Now the thing is here, right, I mean the government do and don't have say in things, but you have one side this beautiful ballet and theatre, and then on this side you've got Calzedonia and Intermissum, which is underwear shop. So it's you know, it's kind of old and new mixed into one. So one question I've had a couple of times about people have been asking about in Moscow is about the COVID situation, and are people wearing masks? How is people's opinion on the COVID? Pretty much everybody here is just getting on with it and not thinking about it and not, let's say, worrying about it. There is a lot of cases per day. Actually, you're not going to see too many people on the street here wearing masks because we're outdoors. If you go to any business, any establishment, government office, they have signage that tells you you've got to wear masks and gloves. But people don't. People are slowly not doing it, not adhering to it. Pretty much for me, I wear it on the public transport. So if I'm on a bus or a metro or a subway, I definitely wear one. And it is almost a requirement that you do as well. And there is actually kind of, I guess, police or security kind of enforcing it. Some of the big shopping centers too, there's people at the front kind of enforcing you to put them on as well. But it is very laxed. So I hope that kind of comes across. I do find it interesting the amount of people who are even on public transport aren't wearing them. When considering the kind of crowds that you get on the trains, on the metros in peak times, people sort of take it for granted. These balconies here. There's a guy just sitting out on his balcony up there. It's relaxing. It's a nice, interesting walk on, I call it Old Arbat Street. Some people call it the Arbat. And actually that's what, they kind of want it to be named as the Arbat, but I guess to not confuse the old and the new street, you sort of call it one or the other. It's nice day. It's not cold. I'm kind of wearing a jacket, but it's you see people look kind of over rugged up, but I think they just don't like the cooler weather. Most people are just wearing a jacket because there's another couple of souvenir shops here. It's kind of interesting. You get a souvenir shop on one side, then you've got like a pancake store in the middle, and then another one on the other side. I would imagine these stores really are struggling without tourism coming here. And I mean, you are able to fly into Russia. I mean, you can get, you know, entry into Russia. It's not as easy as it used to be, especially at the moment. But most countries are closed to leave the country, from the country, like for instance Australia's closed. So there isn't the tourists, especially like on this street here. You would see a lot more people sort of snapping photos and in the stores, but these souvenir shops must be absolutely sort of gutted and struggling for business. I mean, the average Russian wouldn't be using these sort of stores unless they're going on holiday and taking gifts to somebody. But it's nothing really that you'd really want. Eric the Red. I like it how these sort of Russian sort of brands try to westernize themselves with English names. I think it's always interesting. Yeah, this is coming to the end now slowly here. If you come on a kind of a Saturday or a Sunday here, there'll be a lot more street artists and buskers. I haven't seen really too many today. I guess being midweek as well. It's currently the school term also, so even like the students aren't really out and about. So a lot of people just using it as a thoroughfare. Jewelry shops here. It's kind of a nice time of the day as well to come out this kind of early evening where the building lights sort of start to kick in. I guess the overlap now of the darker day, you know, the timing of the evenings now where it's getting darker earlier sort of started here in Russia. There's another, the size of this matryoshka in the window here. It's about 4 feet tall. It's bigger than the kids in the window. There's another statue here. Not too sure what he's doing, the statue. That's one thing that I really wish I could be a little bit better on, is knowing some of the history. And we're walking down a street from the 1450s, and you sort of, especially even the locals, just take it for granted, like it's just another street in Moscow. And it's not special to some people, you know, whereas like a tourist who would sort of seek out, you know, the places to walk in Moscow, and this would be one of them. And here we are just sort of wandering down on a midweek afternoon. There's another souvenir shop. It's all the buildings here. This one's getting its roof done on the top. Hope this video comes across okay. I know I'm going to keep repeating it a little bit, but I hope it's kind of interesting. I just find even just walking and looking at people, you know, like that kind of standing and staring, or walking and staring. I don't know, like, what do they call that when you people watch? That's it, people watching. Even these brick buildings here. Yeah, it's a very nice, wide, I guess you'd call it a mall in some places, especially where it's closed off to traffic. We're almost at the end. A couple more souvenir shops to mark our way down, and then we'll be at the end of old Arbat Street, or the Arbat. I think it's a bit of a weird name, the Arbat. There's many, I guess there's the Strand. I don't know, there's a couple more here. It's always interesting in Moscow, there's these kind of statues everywhere. If I compare Australia, we don't have the age and the history to have, you know, statues of people, you know, that are kind of significance. Whereas here, where you've got, you know, 500, 1,000 years of history. In Australia, we'd sort of kind of go, oh, you know, they weren't famous enough to have a statue built after them, and, you know, people would sort of complain about it. Whereas here, people kind of embrace it. We're going to have one busker at the end here. That's kind of point, isn't it? One at the beginning and one at the end. One interesting thing with busking is, as this lady just walking off here. She's collecting money. And then what they do is they put their Instagram or phone number on the paper in front, and you can send money to their bank account. I guess it's the modern way of advertising yourself and trying to catch some spare change. I guess the one landmark for the end of Arbat Street is this McDonald's right here. It's very, I guess, unmarked, apart from a few little signs. You can see everyone huddling here. You can do ordering at the window and not even go in the restaurant. So you can order and then just wait and it comes to you. And that is the Arbat Street here in Moscow, Russia. We'll just take back a look at the street. Okay, everybody, I want to thank everybody for watching another walk around here in Moscow, Russia. Arbat Street, or Old Arbat Street, or the Arbat. I guess we've got 3 different names to go by for the video. So thanks for watching Traveling with Russell. If you did like the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you like these sort of historical kind of walks on the old streets of Moscow, this one's very famous and one of the original streets of Moscow. So hope you enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click subscribe. There's a notification bell for new videos. Thanks for watching, and for all of the subscribers who are already kind of watching back some of the new videos, thanks everybody. I really appreciate all of the comments, the thumbs up, and all of the new subscribers to the channel. So welcome, and check out some other videos in the playlists. Thanks everybody, and thanks for coming along on a walk on Arbat Street with Traveling with Russell. Bye for now. Bye.